when you're in the moment, right, and your thoughts or your mind is fragmented, like you said, how do you call yourself back? Because it's very easy for the mind to run off. Welcome back, everyone. If you're new to our channel, welcome. If you're already a subscribing member, welcome back. We appreciate you. We appreciate your engagement. We're going to continue with our conversation on divinity. This is part B. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll dive straight into it. Raise the mind, reach the divinity. You are in the midst of divine. Be in search of the location. I kind of like that.
Yes.
You are in the midst of divine. Be in search of the location.
So what he means is that every being has that sense of divinity within him. We saw the mind, the material mind, the spiritual mind. So the
Yes.
seed, the divine seed is in everyone. So be in search of the location. And then when
You
start,
are in the midst of divine. Be in search of the location.
be in search of the location means first the divine, the self is within me. Now this self is the spiritual self. Then from spiritual self you go to the divine self. So in your journey you first find out the element of divinity within, and then you ascend from that level to the final divine self, supreme soul, universal energy, whichever name you would like to say.
You're in the midst of divine. Be in search of the location.
Right.
How am I going to continuously
Yes.
search for the location of divine?
How do you search with it? Start with the 41 days experiment. Start with the breathing exercise. Embrace the guidelines from master. In a state of peaceful mind where your thoughts have reduced from 10 to 9, 8 to 1 and then no thought, you will find where you are in the midst of divinity.
Physics concerned with matter, spirituality concerned with beyond matter.
So this is very important because the concept of master is universal energy. That universal energy manifests in cosmical matter. In cosmical matter means it manifests in the form of universe, or it manifests in the form of galaxies, solar systems, earth and inert matter. Then that universal energy also manifests in the form of biomatter, which he also calls the smallest cell of biomatter, which is lifetron. So universal energy is there in the microcosmic and the macrocosmic. So this is what he is saying is, can you please repeat?
Physics concerned with matter, spirituality concerned with beyond matter.
So beyond matter means, is it visible? But that is the energy which manifests at a cellular level, at an atomic level. But that is also the energy which manifests at the macro, universal level, galactic level, solar system level. So this is what he wants to say, that universal energy is the one that is constant.
Interesting. Okay, so it says divinity concerned with supreme soul,
Yes.
that is consciousness,
Yes.
or the absolute reality. Is there any divine manipulation?
So now
He answers us. He said no, there shouldn't be so.
I think here this is a play, because master is a divine master. He enjoys play. We call it in India, in Sanskrit or Hindi, we call it Leela. So when a master has a pen, he plays through his poetic phenomena, he plays with his scientific phenomena, he plays with his religious and spiritual phenomena. So what he says, divine manipulation. Now, so what he is saying is, some of the scriptural texts say, okay, there is a manipulation. You can go to many texts and you will see that, okay, there was Adam, Eve, and he was manipulated by the snake, that why can't you eat the fruit, the good and evil from the tree? He said your eyes will be open and you will be as wise as God and you will know everything. Are you getting? So that manipulation, that manipulation he's talking of.
Oh.
So because he likes to play, he likes to give hints which can scintillate, which can activate your thinking mechanism to search within.
Right. Okay, so it says no, there shouldn't be so.
Yes.
Generally, any manipulation wouldn't have its eternity.
So just stop it. So what he says is the divine mechanism, formation of universe, all this mechanism, if there is manipulation, it cannot be eternal, ever existing. It cannot go for longer periods of time if there is manipulation. So what he's saying, these are things, but don't understand it as face value. Okay, there is a manipulation. He says no manipulation can exist for longer periods of time. This is what he wants to say.
Okay, so it said it has only the ephemeric, did I pronounce that?
Yes.
And the generic genesis. The creation has its manifestation of the mutable eternity.
Can I take a look to
Sure.
explore and enjoy together with you?
Sure.
It has only the ephemeric. So ephemeric means ever changing, and the generic genesis. Now you know Genesis is also one of the primary fundamental law in the Bible.
First book.
The creation, and then he puts a dot, means just hold on. But what he wants to say as a indication or as a clue, creation has its manifestation of the mutable eternity. Means when the creation happens, it always has a mutation involved in it. Now what does it mean? That there will always be a continuous change. This is also matches to the text or fundamental principles in Buddhism. Gautam Buddha says there is one truth, which is that the whole universe is in the state of flux. Everything is changing. That is the only truth. So what he is saying is that when the universal energy creates inert matter or the biomatter, which is living beings, so inert matter, they undergo mutation internally. But biomatter, there is changes or mutation due to external and internal factors both.
Wow.
So that's why he is saying biomatter mutates faster. Then he says, pray to God, the divinity.
I like that line. Continue.
Lest you should pray to Saturn, the devil. Now what he says is, pray to God, the divinity, means know your destination very clearly, that this is where I want to go. Else what will happen? You will fall in the material life of egocentric desires, me and mine. You will be busy in blowing your ego, and when you do all that, what happens? We have found various circumstances where they have done very well, but still they have found their place in a jail or they are broke. Why? Because the value system were compromised and they went into the unethical lines. Then he says diversity is fact. So there is a diverse creation. There is diversity in our body. All organs are diverse. Unity in diversity is the truth. You may have your heart, kidneys, stomach, neurons, brain working differently, eyes. But is there any unity? Yes, there is a unifying factor.
Tell me.
Like you are listening to me. Your ear is only not listening to me. You are listening to me. Your eyes are watching me. But is eye only working? No. Eye, ear coordination, mind coordination, intellect coordination, focus is there. What is the unifying factor? Unifying factor is that divine element, the universal energy. Okay. So on one front he said unity in diversity is truth, but unity is the original, that is eternity. Are you getting what I am saying? So what is the original? The original is that seed from which everything came into existence. What he says is unity is the original, eternity. Eternity means it has no death. It cannot finish. So sometimes he writes mother universal energy, because it's from it everything came out. Duality is creative. Now duality is creative means, like imagine if I continuously read this book, it become a monologue, but you question how it is practical. So when you challenge, what happens? More creative dimensions emerge. Diversity is productive. So diversity means having diverse fields, diverse contributions. It gives better production and more rich production. Cosmical matter is to be known. Cosmic is to be felt. Now I started with universal energy in the seed form, and from it the Brahma Padartha or the cosmical matter came into existence. But what he is saying is cosmical matter is to be known through a scientific research. You will reach to some point. Cosmic is to be felt. Felt means you have to experience that divinity. That divinity you cannot experience through analysis.
So when you're in the moment, right, and your thoughts or your mind is fragmented, like you said, how do you call yourself back? Because it's very easy for the mind to run off.
So there are two states of mind in this also. One is you can focus because there is an emergency. Now the exam cannot shift from tomorrow to next day.
So you have to.
You have to focus. Imagine you are sitting in a exam. You will not say, I have a back pain or I find difficult. But examine, you do a mock exam in your home. You may feel, oh, I'm having back pain after 2 hours. But in exam, you will not feel back pain.
You'll be focused.
You'll be focused.
So that means it is actually very possible for us to be focused if we want to.
Yes.
Because that's a good example. Like.
And second thing is, you have to habituate your mind to focus. What happened with me when I was going to solve the costing paper, I used to feel that the exam is very difficult, and if a person can do in 3 hours, generally the exam paper is meant to be done in 2.5 hours. If the exam paper is meant for 4 hours, they generally freeze it for 3. This is what conditioning mind. And what used to happen? I used to answer only 75% of the total paper. Why? I was fearful.
Oh, wow.
And I was checking the time. The time itself was a distraction for me. This advice will be very helpful for students. What happened when we were going in the test series, I just said, okay, let me leave this watch, keep it at home. I don't care. There is a watch at my back of the hall, which if I want, I can see. But I said, I will not see the watch. My mind became so calm. Will you be surprised if I say, I used to score above 80 all the time. So I used to complete my paper in 2.5 hours. Why? Mind became powerful. A peaceful mind is a powerful mind.
Just like the way you can take out your watch, right? Can you also take out those fearful thoughts?
Yes. And enjoyment is very important. The change in attitude gives the power to the mind. Consciousness is raised.
Wow.
And that delivers.
So this works.
This works 100% because I passed the exams.
But that doesn't mean that you don't study, huh? Because we said.
Of course, you have to study.
We said there has to be a balance,
Yes.
But there are people that have studied as well, but they've allowed fear become, a factor. So balance.
Actually, this is also very important that our school teaches us all the subjects. It doesn't teach you how to think.
Wow.
It doesn't teach you how to play the game of life. And this is where we are filling the gap of the schools. That this is the way of life. If you adopt, it will lead you to further fulfillment, happiness, and satisfaction.
We would hope to take that
Yes.
session on how to study.
Okay,
How
but
to
can I give you a caveat?
Yes.
At least 100 people should request
Before.
because my focus is now to spread the words of wisdom. But if 100 sincere students say
I want to.
yes, and I will not dedicate one only, we can do a series of 7 lectures.
Wow.
How to study, how to appear for exam, how to appear for interview, how to make your CV, how to get a good job, after job, how to progress. It will be a 7 series, but it is only meant for sincere seekers.
So we
Yes.
need 100 of you, please, request that he,
Yes.
takes the series, and I'll be happy to remind you once we get to 100.
Thank you. And I can give you testimonials. People average, below average have become star performers
By using this.
by
technique.
using these techniques. And I am myself a testimony of all of them. I love to work with students and transform their life. And my master's teaching is all yours. Not a 1% also will be held by me. Everyone will get it.
Fantastic. Thank
Yes.
you for that.
Okay.
So let's continue.
So we go further. These are the last 2 sentences. No one can evince the evidence of providence convincingly, but convinced. So it's also a poetic way, and master English level is also out of the world. So what he's saying is that wisdom level is there. Can you provide evidence? Is what we also discussed. There is no scientific evidence you can provide, but you can be convinced. Then he writes a very clear guideline for all of us as students and the world. Strive to be a perfect human first.
Strive to be a perfect human. I struggle with that because
So we are talking of God, godliness, divinity. He says, okay, these concepts are fine, but first focus on
humanity.
be a human first, which is perfect human. Perfect human, how do you think a perfect human would be? A perfect human would be who is unconditionally happy, peaceful, and whosoever meets him also becomes unconditionally peaceful and happy.
Wow.
That is a perfect human being.
You've broken a lot of tables because
Yes.
basically you're saying to people that before you try to say, I want to be God or I want
Yes.
to be Jesus or Buddha, try
Yes.
to be a perfect human here on earth. Be happy, be peaceful.
Take the advantage. Look at yourself where you are. Introspect, analyze, and dedicate yourself to the target of divinity. So he says, strive to be a perfect human first. That culminates to be a godly one, elevates to the divinity. So that culminates means the perfect human at its zenith shows godly qualities. Godly qualities means what? Loving, compassion, loving not and compassion not limited to few, everyone.
Unconditional.
Unconditional. Eyes of purity means everyone is the same, having a common understanding and common respect and love for all.
So does this happen naturally?
So these teachings have a value when practically implemented. Otherwise, they are only a theoretical thing.
just words.
Yes. Okay, I think we are done.
This was- okay.
I took the book because it was very longish.
So many things
Yes.
in one episode. Guys, I'm sure you've learned a lot. Again, I would emphasize to say that the best way to get from this book is to go back, watch the videos. You can request for the book. We're happy to share it with you. Read it. Ask your questions. We're happy to take it. The purpose is to explore the secrets to living a fulfilled and purposeful life, which we want to give to you. So thank you for joining us on this episode. It's been amazing. We can't wait to see you on the next episode. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and engage. Thank you.